has come here for failmore to rock out his Resident Evil code Veronica. We're doing a glitchless any percent. Failmore, would you like to introduce yourself to the lovely people in the audience today?
I'm failmore, and actually we're doing glitched, not glitchless, but that's fine. Um, uh, there's basically one glitch in the game, and we're going to be using it. Glitchless I don't actually run, but yeah, so I guess with that we can get started, right?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, just go ahead and get a countdown ready for them and let them know whenever you want to start.
Alright, well, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. So, Code Veronica, besides having a lot of long doors, we are going to see a lot of zombie dodges and a lot of RNG, especially early on. Just gonna pick up this knife, you do need it. That was Rodrigo right there. He frees you, people who don't know the story. And we're gonna head up here, and this is one of the things about this run. Some of these stairs and doors are like 20 seconds long. And some have heartbeats. Oh, he bit me. So one of the things with Code Veronica, you can actually push them before they bite you, but he was still able to get me. I was a little off on the line. But there's a lot of, like, tight lines for dodging the zombies. You kind of have to run, like, at them and in between them, and very easy to get grabbed a lot in this run. So coming through here is a tricky line right here, which I'll probably screw up, but we'll see. Never mind, I actually got it.
Please deposit any metallic items you have.
This is the item box. You're not allowed to carry any metal items into this upcoming area. Luckily, the first pass, there's no enemies. There will be some later. Going in here to chat with Steve, and then to get a medallion, or an emblem, I guess. Skip that. Unfortunately, I mean, I know everyone loves Steve, but because we're skipping all the cutscenes, you're not really going to hear him, which I know is a big shame. We have to go put the medallion over here, because you actually can't carry it through because it is metal. This whole segment here is all about trying to get this medallion to a door, but you can't get the medallion through the metal detector, so you have to get some kind of other material.
And how long have you been running this one, Failmore?
Not really that long. My main run is like RE2. I've run this game maybe 100, somewhere between 100 and 200 hours. But every run is like 2 hours long, so it's a lot. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Takes a while to kind of get used to the whole run. There's also a lot of, like I said, heavy RNG early on. A lot of zombie dodges. Like, if this game had a door skip, it would be probably the most interesting of the classic Resident Evil speedruns. I was able to get an animation cancel on that fire hydrant pickup, or extinguisher, I mean. Oh, I missed the key, though. Damn it.
And do you mind if I go ahead and read a quick donation we just got for you?
Oh, that's fine.
Perfect. We actually have a £5 donation from you, Nintendo. His comment is, "No, I do not love Steve. Oily rags, though. That's a special kind of love."
Oily Rags is a Martian Gothic reference. Another game I speedrun, which is basically Resident Evil on Mars.
Looks like your chat is all about Oily Rags.
It's really all we care about. And Steve.
We actually have another £2 donation from CapDap. Helping the little kitties? I like helping little kitties. Good luck, Failmore.
Sometimes I hit the wrong buttons. Go. Another animation cancel. There we go. So you can push them off. This is the only one where you can push them off without getting bit. And you can pretty much do it every time unless they turbo. If they turbo, they're gonna bite you. And what's weird about this game is the way you dodge a lot of the enemies. You kind of run into them to dodge them. Which kind of is what makes this run interesting, is the dodging of the zombies. I actually meant to go into the menu, not activate the door like that, because you have to open this as well, but... not a big deal.
Would you say it's harder to run into the enemies to dodge them, or is it better, easier compared to other games where you have to, like, dodge cancel?
Dodging in this game is way more fun than, say, Resident Evil Remake, where sometimes you're just, like, spinning around in circles hoping they lunge at you. In this game, you don't stop. You just run through them.
Metallic items you have in the security box.
That's amazing. It's perfect.
Yeah, because I actually prefer running this game, even though you would think, you know, it's really long, it's got all the doors, but like dodging zombies in like Resident Evil 1 Remake is pretty aggravating.
We actually got a £10 donation from Saravian. Oily Rag. I like Oily Rag. Make sure to smother Steve with it, Failmore. You got this.
See how I like kind of like hook into the zombies a little bit there? That's like to actually dodge them more consistently. Like if you run away from the zombie as they lunge at you, they'll reach out and just grab you.
And again, guys, just letting you know, we are at £127 out of £200 for the dog percent ending for Silent Hill 2, being run by Super King Andy. So make sure you guys stay on top of that. We can try to get that knocked out before the run, alright?
Oops. I'm actually on a pretty good pace right now, but I'm gonna pick up an herb here just for keep the run safe. I'd rather not die. I do have some saves just in case, but... classic box pushing. Right now we are heading over to the first mansion. We need a steering wheel to get to a submarine, to get to a key card, to get to a military... this place is crazy. But, so right now we're trying to get the steering wheel next. Got some dogs here. If the dogs happen to run up the stairs, well, you need to go up or down the stairs. You can't, travel until they're done with the stairs. Actually, well, that's true of any enemy. Only one thing can be on a set of stairs at a time. It's one of the weird things about this game. Let's see, NTC 03. lot of sandwiches in chat. This line I usually screw up. We'll see. Yep. There would be a very nice video here, but unfortunately we gotta skip it.
Alright, we've got another £10 donation from Fuzies11. Pippo. Oh, hi, Mark. Good luck on the
Peepo.
run. Is it Peepo? We were talking about this actually in chat over here. We're like, is it Peepo or Pippo? And everyone's going back and
Peepo is
forth.
from Overblood. Overblood is quite the meme. If you guys want to hear Steve, I can let this run a little bit. Here we go.
Yeah! Help me!
Everyone wants to hear that.
We got another £5 donation from Meme Stress. I love you bunches, Papa Fail, Micah's Pro.
Oh, I missed that again? Damn. You have to run through this hall like 4 times. Little puzzle here. Pick the guns. And Steve is freed for some reason. And now we're gonna head to the submarine. The submarine, for whatever reason, takes you to an airport. I guess that's what it is. But obviously you can't get on the plane for a while because you're basically at this point in the game you're trying to escape the island. Claire has somehow found, I guess. Well, Claire came to was searching for Chris, got captured, and then found some information about Chris on a computer, and sent information to Leon, and somehow Leon is able to find Chris, which we'll see him later, which makes no sense, but it's alright. I still love this game. Because if Chris was missing the whole time, and Claire didn't know where he was, why would Leon? You try to run in front of that zombie, he usually grabs you. You actually just kind of run into him a little bit behind him. There's your escape, sort of. One of the most complex puzzles here. Up. Left. Chad is talking about Lowen. Yeah, coming up is about 7 zombies or something. There's a couple ways to dodge them. See what they do. Maybe I can take the good line, but... I guess it's only 5. That's fine. Now we're gonna head back the way we... Whoa, that guy actually... That guy usually doesn't grab me. It was unexpected. Now we're heading back the way we came. We gotta go to the... Forgot what the section's called. Kind of a base with a lab. I'm gonna have to heal. Taking a few more bites than usual.
Right, and just want to let you guys know, we are about a good 375 away from the halfway mark for the run. So we are at 1125 pounds out of 3k. So let's get those things in. Let's get the love in here. Get the oily rag peepers, all of the stuff in here for the Worldwide Veterinary Service. We are trying to give some love to those animals, alright guys?
Not these animals, though.
Not those animals.
Okay, in this room is a giant worm. He's easy to deal with right now. But later he can be a problem. Grab this. Now, if I'm extremely unlucky, he could actually shoot me, but that usually doesn't happen. If he does shoot you, it does a ton of damage, too. And we're coming up on the first Bandersnatch, which you have to knife, because you don't have anything else. And we're going to pick up some machine guns. They don't have any ammo. Steve wants machine guns in exchange for golden Lugers, because Steve's... no. Pain. You can get hit less than that. It's just kind of a bit of RNG and positioning. That before I die. Now we get to see Steve. Just a brief run. These cutscenes are hilarious, but unfortunately, time continues if you try to watch them, so... So in that cutscene, Steve shot his father with like 6,000 bullets, so he's just gonna sit there. Running straight should work here, but sometimes this zombie just decides to grab you anyway. That. Steve is still there, blocking your way. You kind of run around this building like 3 times, trying to get everything you need. Now, I heard earlier Alfred was sniping here, now there's some doggos. And they can be a bit of a problem on the way back. I've never had them come up the stairs, though. I don't think they do. But if they can, that would be bad. The other thing they can do is block this ladder. They almost did. In here, because we need a grenade launcher. One thing about this game, obviously, I know where everything is, but a lot of people, they play this game. You can miss any weapon in this game. It's not like RE2 Remake or RE3 Remake, where if you miss something, it's going to give it to you later. Like, this game, like, will reward you for exploring and punish you if you don't. Gotta head up to the top floor. This elevator is also scary. Like, if you miss an input on this elevator, you're gonna lose like 20 seconds. The run yeah, the run has a lot of potential run killers. This whole section, this whole prison has a lot of RNG. So depending on what your time is, a lot of it can kill a run. I don't really need this, but I'm gonna top off my health anyway.
So you were mentioning earlier that the game punishes you for not exploring. Do you prefer speedrunning games that have a little more exploration, or do you like the games that are kind of more linear in terms of running?
I mean, once you're speedrunning, the exploration no longer matters because you know exactly what to do. So I don't think that necessarily matters too much for speedrunning. I mean, it is easier to learn a speedrun if the game is linear. Because this, you're repeating areas a lot, and if you're repeating areas a lot, you can autopilot yourself the wrong direction because you think you're at a different part of the run than you actually are. Which is one thing that can happen a lot with this game, as well as, you know, the original Resident Evil or Resident Evil Remake. Because when you're in, you go through an area like 5 times. If you, for whatever reason, feel like, I mean, if you're not thinking about it, you could easily just do something you're supposed to do later or earlier. It's the crossbow. The crossbow's the main weapon for Claire, and what we're going... The glitch is... It's going to be involved with the glitch, as well as the manual, which we still have in our inventory. The manual is what makes the glitch happen.
Biohazard contamination detected. Level 3. Emergency shutters will close. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Getting hit only once there is pretty good. Tech, you want to run this on PS3? I'm not sure why exactly PS3 is better than a backwards compatible Xbox One X, but all the top runs are PS3. You definitely don't want PS4, because PS4 is just a PS2 version. And well, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 have the HD version, the remaster. I'm actually using an emulator right now. The PS3 emulator. It's just more convenient. I always want to turn the wrong way there for some reason. One thing about this game, some people, I guess, probably don't like this, but a lot of people do. Like, this is one of the more polarizing Resident Evils, but, like, the map itself is kind of a puzzle. It's easy to get lost in on your first playthrough. And RE1 is also like that. And I kind of think that's a important part. Survival horror in general. Not every game needs it, but I think it's a nice thing. Like, if you think about the map like a puzzle, like, and the other puzzles are just, you know, smaller things within the main puzzle, which is, you know, the game itself. And so now we're gonna head back to the mansion we were in earlier. And there's a second mansion above that. You notice that area we were just in, we had to loop around it like 3 times. Like, and when you first play this, you're gonna be running around a lot. But it's kind of interesting how efficient this game can actually be when it feels like the backtracking is endless on your first playthrough. What? That was odd. I need some... Usually I can shake off more zombies before they bite me, but it's not going so well today. Nice picture puzzle here. I like this puzzle a lot. Obviously, I mean, once you know it, oops. But the clue for it is like kind of interesting. Kind of have to like examine all these pictures to figure out the order. Hopefully I can get out of here without too much more damage. Well, okay. I'll just grab this. Oh, I can't grab this. Never mind. We should be fine. There's a couple herbs I can grab besides that. I was gonna mix them up here, but I forgot your inventory's full. Wow. It's rare. This is one of the first Resident Evils that, I think, is it the first Resident Evil that lets you just heal off the ground? RE4 also does it, but for whatever reason you can't do it in the RE2 or RE3 remake, which are much newer games. Forgot a feature from 1999, or 2000 actually. One nice thing about Resident Evil, for speedrunning anyway, they let you enter puzzles that you already know, even if you haven't found the clues for them. Some games will actually not allow that. They'll, like, make you find the solution before you can actually enter the solution.
Alright, and just want to give an update real fast to everyone who's donating for the polls. We currently still have 2 polls open for the Leon costume for Resident Evil 2 Remake. That'll be by Skoyberg tomorrow. Currently in the lead is the Noir costume, or the Noir, whatever you want to say. And then also we have the Dante costume from DMC Devil May Cry by Jitoro, which is also tomorrow. Currently in the lead for that is the Dark costume, the Dark Dante costume. So you'll also have those incentives when you donate, so you can actually select a target and a poll when you donate.
Ow,
so just keep that in mind.
They comboed me. Oh. This building here is probably my favorite building in Resident Evil. It's got the... with the music and this giant hanging doll thing. Also, we have the lighter out because the lighter scares away bats. Be nice if we could... Unfortunately, like in a lot of Resident Evil, a lot of Resident Evils have good music, but like in speedruns, you just go through every room so fast, you don't really hear much of it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. For a good 20-second heartbeat door. Now we head back down again. Well, first time we head back down. But we'll be back up here later. Oh, there's a Bandersnatch right outside the door. We have to kind of turn into him. Not that far, but otherwise he grabs your head. It takes like 5 seconds to get him off you. Pretty much every enemy, you kind of want to run into them. It's really strange. What was that? This guy, if he hits you, it's kind of RNG. This upcoming part is a room with 2 Bandersnatches, and this room can kill you. do have a save if that actually happens. A bad spot for that guy. Didn't get me though. These two can decide to just keep hitting you and you get stuck. Like, I don't know how some of these hits don't connect. Like, hitboxes are strange in this game, but it seems to have something to do with running into them instead of away from them.
We've got a question in chat here from Saravium. Says, do you hold any ammo for the airplane fight?
The Tyrant? I mean, we're gonna have flame arrows, but that's gonna be glitch related. Basically, we're gonna have endless flame arrows for Claire. Like, I just hold straight forward here, and that, like, you just, like... It's kind of interesting how you, like, bounce off the Bandersnatches there. Doesn't always quite work out, but...
We actually just got an anonymous £5 donation, so thank you for that, whoever that was. We are officially at 11:30. 11:30 out of 3K. Thank you guys, you are doing amazing.
And now we're back where we started. Some people aren't huge fans of the backtracking, but I think, you know, they managed to get a lot of content out of every space they created in this game. But, I don't know, like, with this game, like, every zombie looks like it's gonna grab you. And some of the dodges in this game look a little ridiculous, which is why I think, you know, if someone ever did figure out a door skip, like, it would be easily the best classic Resident Evil speedrun. Because it just has the most dodges, and probably the most interesting ones. Got another heartbeat door here. And we're gonna meet Dr. Zombie. Having a snack. Am I not facing it? The lighter back, there's some bats down here. Almost every room in this speedrun has something to do in it. Thought he blocked me for a second from picking up the piano roll there. Wow. Not throwing any of them off today. It's okay. There's a very nice first aid at the end here. When your inventory's full, you can heal very quickly. Because it just asks if you want to use the heal from the ground. Thought he had me. Now we are going back to the mansion again. Or we're just gonna run into him, I guess. Yeah, I just run right at these guys. It's really strange. The dogs are gone. That's because there's going to be a cutscene with Wesker. Reveal. The big reveal that Wesker is not dead is in this game. We're about to do the glitch. Pick up these flame bear arrows. So what I'm doing is I'm combining with this, then we equip that. We combine all our bolts together, and then we go up to File here, and we read the manual. And now, if you look at what I have equipped, it's 50 arrows instead of an actual weapon. But those arrows are explosive arrows because I had the explosive rounds equipped on the bowgun. So it's not technically unlimited arrows, but it essentially is, because you can keep picking up more arrows and they'll all be explosive. So basically Claire has unlimited explosive arrows. Once you get to Chris, those are gone, but... Now we're going back up here again. Only this time... Oh, I got stuck on the couch. This time the bridge is not empty. This dodge is pretty hard. I'll probably screw it up, but... Ah, we got by the first one. Once you screw up one, all the alignment of the rest is kind of a mess. Now we have zombies in here instead of bats. Go ahead and shoot a couple of them, because they're a problem usually.
Alright, and just want to take this time to remind you guys, we are only $73 shy of the dog percent Easter egg ending in Silent Hill 2. The run becomes Super King Andy. So let's get those donos in before the run. Remember, we are $72 shy.
This is the most terrifying bed to sleep in of all time. Someone just decides to play music and you're dead. This game really likes dragonflies and ants. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Basically, what we're looking for is these 3 proofs that you need to get onto the plane so you can escape. There's a lot to remember in this game. Like, sometimes I don't turn the right direction immediately because I kind of have to remember which way to turn at the... You know, for every single room.
This
That wig was Alfred's. Got multiple personalities. Sometimes he thinks he's his sister, Alexia. Pick up that first aid spray. Hopefully that's all I need for Claire. Again, we gotta make sure we turn into the Bandersnatch here a little bit. I swear, his hand went right through the rocks there. Usually you can just, there's 5 zombies on this bridge, but usually you can just hold forward. And literally do nothing else. You run by all of them. We're about to pick up the last proof, which is going to start the sort of ending of the first area.
The self-destruct.
Claire.
There's Steve.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
And the game kind of like tricks you into thinking it's almost over. Every Resident Evil ends with like a countdown and an, an escape before a self-destruct. Every so often my game does crash during this segment, but I have a save if it does that. Not exactly sure why.
How often does it crash? Does it crash like all the time, like 90%, or is it kind of like a once in a blue moon crash?
Once in a blue moon, but it's usually during this segment. At a specific part, too.
Alright, fingers crossed for no crash.
I mean, I've got a lot of backup saves if something goes wrong.
You hear that, future marathon runners? That right there is planning ahead.
Yeah, some games it's harder than others to have something you can do if something goes wrong, but... Although a lot of games it's really easy, like the new Resident Evils, you just hit continue if you die. Right now, what we did is there was a lever on the plane. We need to raise this bridge so the plane can take off. And you couldn't raise the bridge earlier because the lever's missing.
Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and take this time to remind you of the Worldwide Veterinary Service. Right now, thousands of animals are suffering silently with no chance of ever receiving veterinary care. Like you, we don't think this is fair. Worldwide Veterinary Service provides free expert care to animals in need all over the world. We do this by sending vets where they are needed the most, training them to increase the standard of care globally, by shipping urgent aid supplies worldwide every week of the year. So just to go ahead and let you guys know that your donations are going to this cause, and it is a wonderful cause, and we appreciate each and every one of you guys for your donations, for your continued support while we all get through all these hard times. So thank you so much again, and thanks to Failmore also. Your run is going great, man. You're doing fantastic. Let's get some hype in the chat for Failmore, Oily Rags, whatever you want. Show them all your love and support, guys. You rock.
This is actually the part right here where sometimes it'll crash on me. Not exactly sure why, but it's also a save room, so save point's not going to be far off if something goes wrong.
Until detonation.
I love this countdown timer. It keeps going through every single load, and there's a lot of them, so it probably makes some people panic because you don't really have a lot of time.
I will not.
I'm about to come up on the first tyrant. Well, it's the same tyrant twice, but... I believe it's 18 arrows. $17, actually. Should have shot 18.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system has been
Luckily, you don't really have far to go. So you get a 5-minute timer. You lose like a minute of it to loading screens. But you really don't have very far to go.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel
Oops.
evacuate immediately.
We're coming up on the infamous plane tyrant.
The self-destruct system has been
Apparently, a lot of people have given up here. There is like a way, a non-speedrun way to beat him easily that people are supposed to do. There's a specific weapon that annihilates him. We're not using that because we're using flame arrows. But there's these green grenade launcher rounds that take away half his health every time you hit him with it. So he's basically almost dead after shooting all 3 of those. And you just need like 3 grenades. And it's pretty much a free fight. Like on a normal playthrough, as long as you realize what those rounds are for. And he's dead. It's 24 arrows. Skip a bunch more cutscenes. Actually, no, not that many. And we're in the Arctic. And they're well dressed for the Arctic. There's no way they'll get cold. These are everyone's favorite enemy in all of Resident Evil, probably. Those moths can grab you, you lose like 5 seconds. They can poison you. They respawn if you kill them. Where's this guy? He usually walks out a little further. Run into him. This room has 2 spiders in it, and it can, they can trap you if you're not careful. Oh, I did that totally wrong. Oh, we got out. But they can, like, line up right next to each other in that spot on the way back, and if that happens, they can actually keep grabbing you for quite a while. Right now we're turning the power back on. Basically trying to figure out a way out of to escape this Arctic base. And we have to run over here just to check this valve. Even though we don't have the thing we need yet. If you don't check this, later on you're supposed to like use a drill to fit the valve to the right shape, and you won't know the shape, and you'd have to run all the way back down here and then go back up again. That saves a ton of backtracking to check that. We're gonna put a sticker on here to divert this to the room with the spiders. That way we can pick up the gas mask that is in there. We're gonna need that later. You can... Okay, those moths, you can shake them off before, but if you don't shake them off in time, they like put this like egg on you, and that egg hatches, and then like it crawls around, and Claire has to grab the bug and then kill it. Takes a lot of time. That rat actually follows you around the entire game. He's kind of an Easter egg or something. You can see him in many different cutscenes. And in the battle mode with Wesker, you can find a note that the rat left. That's Nosferatu down there. Not happy. Pick up more arrows here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to bank the grenade launcher and the bowgun for Chris. Now, even though I banked the bowgun, I still have a bowgun because I have the arrows equipped from the glitch. Now I have 34 flame arrows for Claire's fight with Nosferatu coming up soon. Go in here and pick up the valve. One thing that can happen to people is like they don't get this valve before talking to Steve in this room. And then what happens is Steve gets distracted, breaks a pipe, and poison gases everywhere. And then if you don't have the gas mask already, you'd have to run all the way down and get the gas mask, then run all the way up. But if you didn't check that valve as well, that I talked about earlier, then you might have to run all the way down again, and then all the way up again. If you do things in the right order, you only have to come up here once. And And Claire does not run faster in caution in this game, unfortunately. Doesn't run slower either, though. The last pass through the moths. Gotta hope they don't get us. That can poison you, that dust. Claire is ready for COVID. Got her mask. Now for this, we're just gonna run back here and shoot all these arrows. Now we're Chris. Chris is gonna pick up the items left for him. Yeah, I did that. Now this part of this worm control you. You can only kill him when he does a certain thing where he's like stands up and screams and stays out of the ground for several seconds. That's not it. He just dove immediately. No, that was it. Oh no, that's not it actually. That was not it. So it only takes 4 arrows, but there's only a specific time you can kill him. Okay. This is what we call... this is rip run. Like any normal run. Like you want him to do what he just did right there at the end immediately. Otherwise you can lose like 30 seconds or a minute or who knows. He can just keep diving for a very long time. So what happened is most of this island's been destroyed, but not all of it. And this is where Chris comes to look for Claire. So you start out here before you get to go to the Arctic with Chris. Got this battery. Jump scare. I think Veronica is the grossest Resident Evil spiders. You can shoot that thing off their back, and then they'll just be like legs walking around. You might not die. Oh, you... Alright, at least you didn't buy me. That zombie's kind of a troll, because you have to put the battery in, then you have to wait for the thing to lower before you can actually get on it. And that was Alexia singing. Now, this part can be very confusing, because you're going to be going up and down this elevator quite a lot. So we go in this room first. One of the reasons it's probably slightly faster in general, but the other reason is if you go in here before you see any other hunters, the hunter that's supposed to jump in here doesn't show up. $128. That grate, the hunter would usually jump through there. Because we didn't pick up this doorknob first, there's no hunter. Basically, Wesker put all these little robots around to detect your movement. And if you run into them, hunters show up. That one is scripted, obviously. The hunter reveal. Then you'll see more of them. I just went to the wrong floor. This is a big time loss. Need to go to the top floor. But the elevators are scary. If you miss an input or do an extra input, like if you're trying for a good time, your run's just over.
Right, and just a reminder, guys, still we are halfway to getting the dog percent ending, Easter egg ending for Silent Hill 2, run by Super King Andy. So make sure we get those donos in. Following that, we will also have the Limbo optional bosses, increased difficulty and time in the game Ultra Kill, being run by Teddy Ress. So those will be your next two incentives. So try to get on that before the runs tomorrow. After that, we will have the guitar controller for Resident Evil 3 Remake by Crazy Gaming Days. So check that out in the Twitch panels. You can see all the targets and polls we still have up.
Now we're just going to pick up this tank here for the mini mansion or whatever it is called, mini base. There's like a replica of the base. And I don't know, for whatever reason, putting a tank on it gives you access to a key and a switch. Typical Resident Evil stuff. The way this game kind of has like 3 mansions. We're gonna go to the first floor. Get to see an awful lot of this elevator. That thing hits you, then you get a hunter in your way, and it just causes problems.
So actually, I have a question real fast. So if they were to remake Code Veronica, you know, like they did with RE2 remake, RE3 remake, is there any particular segment or section in this game that you would want them to take out? If it was like a mirrored remake, just in better quality?
I think I'd necessarily want them to take out anything, but I would want them to split the Clarisse and Claire campaigns and then alter some things.
So kind of have like a two campaign, kind of like REHD did.
Yeah, I mean, I would want you to play, like, you would play as Claire, and then Chris would just be like a gigantic separate ways. Like RE4's Ada separate ways, only bigger. It would have to be bigger.
Right.
But you would have to play as Claire first, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense.
Of course, of course. But yeah, it kind of adds it as a follow-up story to the Claire
Yeah,
game.
like, because Chris will come rescue Claire, and like you could have like a cutscene during Claire, and then it's like, okay, what was Chris doing to get to Claire? Like, that's how I would have it. And then I'd have Claire fight the final boss, Alexia, and then instead of Chris fighting Wesker being a cutscene, you would fight Wesker with Chris at the end of his. So, then I'd alter some stuff. I mean, that's the way, that's like the realistic changes I would want. I mean, the more unrealistic is I would have Chris actually be captured and then replace him with Jill. Because Claire is looking for Chris, right? And so is Jill. Like, if you go to the epilogues of the original RE3, both Claire and Jill are trying to find Chris. Like, why does no one know where Chris is? But then all of a sudden, Leon can find him. Like, I'd rather Chris just be captured and then do a Claire-Jill game, and they rest, like... Claire gets caught, goes here, sends a message to Jill, because Jill is Chris's partner. And then Jill comes to help Claire and rescue Chris. I'd rather have it be like that. But that's the more extreme. Like, that'd never happen.
I'm done for that though. I would buy that game in a heartbeat.
It would make more sense. But yeah, if they just split the campaigns, let Claire fight Alexia at the end, have Chris do an actual fight with Wesker, that would be his final boss. I mean, it would probably fix the problems that a lot of people have with this game. Because you can screw up your inventory pretty bad with the character switching and not have access to something when you need it. I mean, to me, this is still this is my favorite Resident Evil, like, easily, but it can be better. They all can be better, but
Yeah, for sure. I just hope they don't give it the RE3 remake treatment, because RE3 Nemesis was my favorite, and so after that, I kind of cried internally a lot. So I hope if they do come out with a Code Veronica remake, it'll be more like Resident Evil 2 remake. I feel like that was a lot more well received, you know.
assuming they learned from 2 and 3 remake, then they would probably go that direction, but you never know. And it's a little scary. Like, I want a remake, but it's also scary. I don't want them to destroy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think this is one thing people do, like, they confuse RE3 and this game for, like, action games. They're not. There's action in them, there's a lot of enemies, but the enemies... Like, the quantity of enemies doesn't really change that. It's still more of a survival horror kind of thing. Like, the enemies are just, like, there to force you to make decisions about what to do with your resources. Like, it's not about just running and gunning, you know? Which is kind of what RE3 Remake felt like. Even though RE3 Remake has limited resources, like, they made it so easy and so linear that it just didn't matter. You just kill everything, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing as well, is they thought they turned the game more into like a run and gun shooter versus a creepy survival horror. So, you know, with RE8 coming out, do you think they're going to reflect the exact same gameplay as RE7, or you think they're going to do the same thing and kind of make it more runny gunny?
It's going to be more in the middle. I'm a little worried about it, but I still think it looks like they're definitely going for horror. At least tone-wise, it looks like it's going to be fine. Like, where I get worried is if they start doing, like, ammo drops. Because if you start doing ammo drops like RE4, 5, 6, like, that requires significantly more enemies to make up for that, to balance. And then you kind of have a game where you're killing a lot of trash mobs.
Yeah, just to get the ammo to progress the game.
Yeah, I mean, it... like, pretty much... Yeah. Like, I'd rather... the end, there's more strategy to... like, these kind of games. Like... Because you don't know how many times you're gonna come back to a certain area. So you don't know, like, you kind of have to decide, is this a zombie worth killing or not? Is this a threat for the future, or am I going to pass by him one time, so maybe I should save my ammo here?
Exactly. So it kind of brings back that real survival horror. Like, you have to really question
Yeah.
every decision you make in the game, because you never know if it's going to come back to haunt you later.
But of course, if you start doing ammo drops and stuff like that, then it just becomes constant shooting, you know?
Mm-hmm. Good, 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 good.
Whoops.
And just a real quick update, guys. The Leon Noir costume is still in the lead right now for Skoyberg's run of RE2 Remake later. And also the dark costume for Dante is still in the lead for JJ Toro's run of Devil May Cry tomorrow. Or I guess today it's technically midnight over here.
Kind of add to, like, what we were talking about, like, you know, backtracking can be hit or miss, but without backtracking, it kind of, like, you get the RE3 Remake problem, where even if you have limited resources, it doesn't matter. Because you're not going to see a zombie a second time to have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Where RE2 Remake actually nailed it, for the most part, I would say. Because it had a lot of places that you probably guessed you were going to see again, but you just didn't really know.
Yeah, and that's a crazy good thing about RE2 Remake that they did right, was that revisit thing that you had mentioned a few times earlier in your stream as well. It's just being able to come back to areas you'd been previously, to find new things or do things you thought weren't important before but are now. Just that replayability without straying too far away from the main course of the game. You're
Yeah.
still following the path you need to go.
I would say RE2 Remake's the first probably game that really nailed survival horror from an over-the-shoulder perspective. Because it's not a good perspective for survival horror. You can see way too much.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And I think it's
Which is why it's so many.
Yeah. Why a lot of them are first person. Because the classic camera is pretty dead, but first person you can still do it. But over the shoulder, like, you don't see many that actually succeed at it. They tend to just be more action. I think Revelations 2 is kind of close, but it's also a bit more linear, so... I mean, I really like that game, but it's kind of a different thing. It's like kind of the oddest Resident Evil game. Because it's like a stealth game. Like it replaced that one replaced like a lot of the mechanics with like using stealth in place of kind of like the backtracking and stuff as the other mechanism for saving ammo. Dealing with enemies.
And so, what are you doing right now in the game?
Right now, we're trying to get this plate from this lightning bug guy here, and we have to mix it with these chemicals we've picked up, and that'll give us this key object we need to open the door that we were near where we got the battery. Oh god. I was trying to avoid getting run over there. Pretty much the first door you see with not the first door, but you go down, you get the battery, there's a door right in front of you, and you need a key to get in that door. That door leads to the plane that's going to take you to the Arctic. So this whole segment, you need to get this blue plate, you need to get these chemicals to get the blue plate off so you can get the yellow key out of it. What this entire prison segment for Chris is. But, you know, we've seen this elevator about 10 times now. Like, that's why what makes this area can confuse a lot of people, because it just works out in a strange way. And the map, I don't think the map's, like, the best in this game. It's just not like RE2 Remake's map, which is very nice. This shotgun, like, it's kind of a puzzle how you get it. The speedrun does get it because it is faster. You don't actually use it. You just pick it up. But I've seen a lot of people miss that. And that's the thing about this game. Like, what makes it kind of rewarding but also challenging is, like, the exploration needed to get what you need to beat it. Like, I've seen people miss the shotgun, the magnum, and 2 machine guns on their first playthrough. And they're basically, like, have nothing near the end of the game. A lot of people miss the Magnum. Because the Magnum requires the fire extinguisher, which a lot of people like to leave in that box, the metal detector box.
And does the Magnum stay in the same place throughout all the difficulties, or does it swap kind of like an REHD?
Magnum's always in the same place. There's really... Okay, on the North American version, there's only one difficulty, and that's the hardest one. The reason... The Japanese version does have easy and very easy. That guy sometimes takes 1 shot, sometimes takes 2. The North American version only has the hardest difficulty because of Blockbuster. I'm not even joking. That's one of the reasons this game is, like, this game is so hard. Or the first Resident Evil, if you've ever played the original version of the original Resident Evil, it didn't have auto-aim. And it's a lot harder. It's the same reason. Rentals. In Resident Evil 2, the auto-aim is there, but you have to enable it. It's disabled by default. And most people don't realize you can enable it in North America, or they didn't at the time because you couldn't auto-aim in the first game anyway. So a lot of stuff like that in North America, like a lot of games were made harder for North America, essentially because of rentals. So you couldn't beat the game in 1 rental. Essentially, you were, yeah. If you're in North America, you were never meant to beat this on your first playthrough.
It's just the world trying to take your money, but you should be putting your money and your lovely pounds towards the Worldwide Veterinary Service, which is what this whole entire event is for. So please get those donations in. We are currently at £1,130 even. Currently almost reaching the halfway point of our £3,000 goal. This was going to be going on until tomorrow, so we're hopefully trying to get at least the halfway point by the end of the week, the end of the next couple of streams, so or the next couple of runs. So if you guys can help us out, that'd be phenomenal. Again, if you want to find out more about the WVS, just go down into the Twitch panel, and there is a photo of a little bear claw down there. You can click that, and it'll take you to the website, and you can find out more about it there.
So yeah, now we're in the Arctic where Claire, you know, Claire's journey kind of ended for this game for the most part. But it's all frozen over now. It kind of got destroyed a bit, like, because they used a drill. They drilled through a wall to escape, it flooded the place. And then after, when Claire and Steve were escaping, Alexia awakened and, you know, prevented their escape. But I love the Arctic. It reminds me, you know, of the Thing. This thing is really hard to dodge. You can dodge that. It's just gotta be pretty perfect.
And so earlier you were talking about how you did the glitch for the crossbow to get the 50 explosive arrows, and you said once you swapped to Chris you would lose that. Can you do the same glitch on Chris to increase
No.
his ammo?
The glitch requires the manual and reading it a certain way. Once the manual's been read, it's gone.
Got you, got you.
So the game manual starts out in Claire's inventory at the beginning of the game. You're expected to just look at it immediately. Or very early on. And you have to read it a certain way. Like, you don't select it from your item menu, you select it from the menu at the top of the screen. And that causes it to delete it from your menu and shuffle all your items. And then it can read the item you have equipped as, like, a different item, which you turn into the arrows. There's about 10 zombies in this hallway. You want them all to fall right there, which they did. You're just trying to shove them all over, because in this game you can run into the zombies, get grabbed, shove them over without getting bit. This is interesting. I don't know, I don't think that's something they should keep, because if they were to remake this, in this, like... One thing I liked about RE2 Remake, like, no QTEs, no having to mash buttons to shake zombies off faster, which has been something that's in every single classic Resident Evil, even though it doesn't really tell you. But even the original Resident Evil, if you mash buttons, you'll get the zombie off you faster. They're guaranteed to bite you, but you'll get them off faster. But I like, yeah, you know, I don't like mashing buttons.
It's a quick way to really destroy your controller without needing to.
Yeah. But the one thing that's unique about this one versus the others, you can actually mash the buttons fast enough that you don't even get bit. These things are funny, but I mean, they're just annoying. They do 1 damage every time they hit you, like literally 1 point of damage. You have 200 health in this game. I mean, we do have an SRT for this game, so we can see all these things, like we can see enemy health and all that stuff. At least with the emulator. So we kind of get an interesting idea of how things work.
And does this game also utilize DA, like the damage adjustment?
No, that didn't exist until 4. This puzzle was one where you kind of have to look at the block and see what's on the opposite side to figure out the order. That's Alfred. Dead. Poor Alfred. It's interesting, like the cutscene where Alfred dies, it almost feels like they're trying to make you feel sorry for him. My goodness. Too many bugs. hopefully can get through here. One of the crazier dodges. Dodge 10 zombies. We just turn the power off, which is important for later in the game, because there's kind of a environmental puzzle with getting these 2 gems out of the tiger at the same, because the tiger will turn. You saw the tiger earlier. It turn, like you grab 1 gem, it causes it to turn, then you get an item from it, just like the original Resident Evil. But in order to have it not turn, you have to turn the power off so you can get both gems. That's so funny. He just instantly killed that thing. That's such a dramatic entrance, though. Now, for those, a lot of people are angry that there's no spiders in Resident Evil 2 Remake or Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, for those people, this is your last chance, is this game. You gotta get out there, demand a Code Veronica remake. Even if you didn't like this game, I mean, it'd be totally different, remade and third or over the shoulder anyway. And this is like probably the grossest spider in Resident Evil. Oops. We need a map for. You don't have to kill him, just like the rose spider in the original Resident Evil. You don't have to kill that one either.
I feel like spiders in a lot of the RE games, you can literally just walk around.
Pretty much. They don't do any. I mean, the 2 games that have a big spider are this one and the RE1. And I feel like RE2 and 3's spiders never did anything to begin with. These are a special hunter, the colorful ones. They can poison you. This is what everyone loves, is poison.
Oh, it's our favorite affliction in the RE games. What are you talking about?
Kind of funny, like 2 and 3, like, this poison is so rare. It's basically required a spider randomly hitting you. The original 2 and 3 anyway.
Yeah.
But this one and RE1, like this was like, it's interesting. Like I feel like this game and RE1 have more in common than 2 and 3 have with 1. It's like a more puzzle-oriented level design, I would say. I'm gonna pick these both up just for safety. This is another part of the game where people can kind of screw themselves over a bit. Because you don't really know that you're only playing Claire for a little bit here. You could give her too many weapons, leave Chris with not much. If you have multiple saves, it's not a big deal, but if you're only using 1 for some reason in a Resident Evil game, 1, you shouldn't be doing that, and you could get in big trouble if you did in this game. And this tank thing, okay, if there's something that can be cut, it's this thing. Like, what is, I don't know what this is. I have no explanation for this. I'm gonna take it pretty safe, though. Like, I don't even know why does it trigger to no longer smash because you picked a card off the ground? It's so strange. I just went through the wrong door. That zombie was in a
That is a
very
really
odd
weird.
spot.
That is a really weird concept, though. I really can't imagine what the conversation was as they created that.
This is where the security manual, or like, the security card will be, just in case somebody needs it.
We'll throw it in this cannon here, and if they somehow find it, they'll have to smash it with this giant, like, ancient stone tablet that will suddenly stop working once you grab the card.
It's like masterful design. So, the key to this is basically like walk 1.5 steps forward or so, bait his attack, and then run in a straight line. And that guy can cause a... I mean, Steve can cause a lot of problems, though. You don't really fight him, you just try to dodge him. Ow. That was the first Alexia form. Just 3 grenades kills her. It's actually a decent fight if... Like, you're usually low on resources, you might not have 3 grenades, and it's kind of a decent fight, because what she does is she, like, throws fire around, but you can see where she's going to throw the fire, so kind of... Like, in a casual playthrough, it could require a lot of movement. Usually, I don't know why
I
I'm...
could definitely see that in the remake looking pretty cool, though.
Oh, yeah.
Them changing that fight. Yeah.
Oops. I think, like, if they were remaking this, there's so much they could do with it. It could be a very dark, kind of disturbing game with a lot of great images, I think, but... I mean, you know, a lot that could happen. Or you could turn into RE3 Remake, who knows. But there's it's a great setting. There's a lot of great locations in this game.
Oh yeah, the level designs are fantastic. Absolutely, like the color, the designs, like every single aspect looks like it had a lot of detail and thought that went into it to really give the atmosphere that you're back in like the RE1 mansion vibe. Like, you know, any corner you turn can be infested with zombies. They've got tight corridors, they've got beautifully decorated rooms. You know, aside from the stone tablet nonsense,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty phenomenal looking place.
And it's also their first fully 3D rendered one. It's the only classic Resident Evil with a moving camera. It's the only one that's fully 3D rendered. Like, it's a shame this is not on PC, because I bet modders could do so much more with this game than they can the older ones. And the remakes, and maybe the first remake in Zero as well, because... I don't know, like... I just imagine you could probably do more with it, because everything is fully 3D rendered, and you got a moving camera, and... I don't know.
And you think, is that the reason they don't have door skip for this? Is because there's no PC version?
Yep.
That makes sense.
It might be possible to get door skip on the PS3 version, but it's apparently going to be really hard to find the part you need to alter. Like, I guess it would take a lot of work. Someone has tried. CapDap has tried, he's in here.
Shout out to CapDap over there.
He did make an auto splitter though, and an SRT. So people can run this on the emulator with auto splitter and an SRT, which is nice.
You know, piggybacking off of Alexander's comment here, the soundtrack of this game is so good. Do you have a personal Resident Evil that you think has the best soundtrack out of all of them?
Oh, it's this one. Easily.
Yeah. Chat, what do you think? Do you think that this game has the best soundtrack out of all the Resident Evil games?
Well, it definitely has the best save theme, but I mean, in general, it's just easily the best. Like, soundtrack-wise. Whoops. That's not what I'm supposed to do. This could screw up the whole hallway. Oh, wow. Oh, I got by the other ones.
Alright, I'm just going to do a quick update here real fast, just to let you guys know. The Leon costume, the Noir costume, is still in the lead, as well as the Dark costume for the Dante costume for Devil May Cry. Currently, we are still at the halfway mark for our Dog Percent ending, the secret Easter egg ending in Silent Hill 2. That's going to be run by Super King Andy a little later. We have the Limbo optional bosses, increased difficulty and time in the Ultra Kill game being run by Teddy Raz. And then we also have the Guitar Percent guitar controller for Resident Evil 3 Remake by Crazy Gaming Days. So those are the next 3 incentives. After that, we will have the Eternal Darkness and the Silent Hill Arcade incentives. If you guys want to look at them yourself, just go down here on the stream, go down to the stream panels below, and you can see where it says Worldwide Veterinary Service. You'll see an option that says 7 targets and 2 polls. And then you can also see the amount of money that we have raised so far for the cause. So check that out. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us in chat. We'll be here all night, all day to answer any and all questions about the cause, about the Thunderthon channel, about any of the streaming stuff we're doing, the events, and all that. And if you want to get involved as well. So definitely check it out.
Chat know the code. One of the hardest codes in all of Resident Evil.
What do you say, chat?
Rebecca. Code Veronica. One time I just typed in code Veronica. I put like the word code in as well. That didn't help.
Oily rag.
We are at the very end here. Final boss coming up. Oh. Oh no. Okay. I'd almost had him really fast, or her really fast. It's alright though. This part can easily kill a run. Like, you can miss her like over and over. That wasn't too bad.
Alright.
About-
Just let them know when to call time.
About 17 cutscenes right here. There it is. And we're done.
Nice. Wonderful job, Failmore. Get some hypes and GGs in the chat, everybody. That was amazing, bro. Congratulations.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Phil, if you want to take this time to say anything else about yourself, you want to give any shout outs, the floor is yours, man. Go ahead and take it.
I wasn't really thinking about that. No, I don't. Not much else. You can find me on my channel's obviously Failmore. I speedrun this. I speedrun Martian Gothic, and I speedrun RE2 and RE1. But thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for the donations.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Failmore. Again, wonderful runs, dude. Great commentary. You're very informative. The run went really good, and we definitely felt your confidence once you started getting into it, you were like, yeah, this is my game. So it was really wonderful watching you, man. Fantastic job. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get ready to take a break as we get ready to prepare for the next runner who's going to be coming up here in a second. We are going to be having Tech Missy 676 doing the NPC run of Helltaker. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go for a quick break.